Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about slope. Slope is one of those topics that you're going to use a lot this year and the remainder of your math career. Okay, so we're going to start with just some basic review. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple of lines and I'm going to ask you to go ahead and graph them. Okay, so the first one, I want you to graph a line with an x-intercept of 3 and a y-intercept of 4. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Okay, so if you had graphed that, you should have had an x-intercept of 3 and a y-intercept of 4, and you should have gone ahead and drawn that line and labeled it number 1. Okay, so that's the first one. All right, I'm going to give you one more. I would like you to find one with the x-intercept being 5 and the y-intercept being 1. Okay, so go ahead and take a second, graph that for me. Okay, if you went ahead and graphed that, your x-intercept, it said was 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and your y-intercept was 1. Okay, so if you go ahead and draw that line, it should look something like this, and you have number 2. Okay, so what do you notice about this line? What is the same? What's different? What do you see about it? Okay. All right, second thing. Okay, definition for slope. Okay, slope, the definition is a rate of change. A rate of change. Okay, basically just tells us how much a line changes over a period of time. Okay, another way to think of it is a rate of change is a ratio. Okay, a rate of change is a ratio. And one big thing that I want you to remember when you are writing slope, okay, when you are writing slope, it is never, slope is never written as a decimal or mixed number. Okay, so slope is never, I repeat, never written as a decimal or a mixed number. Okay, make sure that you know that it is either a fraction or a whole number. Okay, it is not a decimal or a mixed number. Very important. Okay, so here's a little review, a couple of definitions for you. Make sure you have that down for me. All right. Okay, the slope of the line. Okay, the slope of the line refers to the steepness of the line. Okay, so write steepness of the line. Okay, so if you have ever thought of slope before, you could think of mountains. You could think of, roofs of a house. Okay, you could also think of the grades of roads. Now, you know that many of your relatives work in these type of things. They've either been skiing, they roof houses, or they're a truck driver on the road. Slope's a very important way of life. They need to understand how slope works. Okay, so the slope of a line, okay, and this is more of a formal definition. The slope of a line is the ratio of rise to run for any 2 points on a line. Okay, it's a ratio of rise to run for any 2 points on a line. Okay, so if you're looking at this, your rise from one point to the next is always going to be in the y direction, and your run is always going to be in your x direction. Okay, and it doesn't matter how you get from one point to the next. You can either go right, then up, or you can go left, then down. Either way works. We just need to know, and you need to know, that this formula, slope is rise over run, or change in y over change in x. Both of these things mean exactly the same thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and move down. Okay, and we want to find the slope of the line. Okay, and the way you want to do this is go ahead and identify two ordered pairs that land exactly on the line. Okay, so I'm going to choose two for you. Okay, and I want you to choose this guy up here, and I want you to choose 3, 2, this guy right here. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and find the slope of the line. I'm going to do rise over run. Okay, so the first time I'm going to do our rise. How much is my change from this point to our next one? Okay, and that looks like a -3 rise. Okay, and I want to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it looks like it's a +9 run. So our rise over run would be -3 over 9, or -1/3. Now you can do it the other way too. I want you to see that this works. Okay, you can rise from this point, go up 1, 2, 3. So that's a +3. And then you can go left 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so -9. And you'll see that if you do your rise, 3 over -9, if you go ahead and reduce that, you still get your -1/3. Okay, so no matter which direction you go, you're still going to get the same slope, -1/3. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and try a couple more. All right. Okay, for a brief second, I want you to go ahead and decide if these 4 different lines are positive, negative, 0, or undefined slope. Okay, so take a second and do that real quick. Okay, lastly, u-tries. Okay, but before we give these u-tries a try, I got a joke for you. What do you call an unwanted noodle? What do you call an unwanted noodle? Think about it. Think about it. An impasta. You like it. Okay, so let's go ahead and give 2 problems a try real quick. Okay, I want you to go ahead and find the slope using this graph. I want you to find the slope between the points -1 and 3, and 4, -6. That's the first problem. And I want you to find the slope between -5, 3 and 9, 3. And I want you to label the first one line number 1 and line number 2. Okay, so go ahead and find the slope of those two and graph them on your graph right here and tell me the slope of each. See ya. Right here, it wants us to go ahead and find the slope of the line that contains 0, -3 and 5, -5. Okay, so let's go ahead and plot those points. We have 0, -3. This guy right here. And we have 5, -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the point right here. Okay, and we want to go ahead and find the slope of that line. Okay, and you can either go this direction, up, then over, or you can go down, then over. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to go ahead and follow the blue line. Okay, so to rise from blue line down here, even with the other point, you're going to go down -2. Okay, so it's a rise of -2. And then I'm going to go right 1, 2, 3, 4, right 5. So my run would be 5. So my slope gives us -2/5. And you could go on the red line and get the same negative 2/5. It would be exactly the same thing. Okay, so next, you have 4 different types of slope when you are graphing lines. Okay, the first type, if it's going up from left to right, you're going to have a positive slope. Okay, so if you have going up from left to right, you have a positive slope. Now, if you have going down from left to right, you are going to have a negative slope. Okay, you can view that as your day is going downhill. It's negative slope. Okay, the third type, if you have a line that is just flat, it can kind of view it as if you're at a hospital and your heartbeat is flat. What does that mean? You're flatlining, you're dead, your heart rate is 0. So if you have a line that is flat, you're going to have a slope of 0. Okay, the last type, if you have a vertical line, you can view this as, can you drive a line on a drive a car on a vertical line? Well, no, you can't do that. That doesn't make sense. That is a undefined slope. Okay, you can't define that. Okay, so these are our 4 different types of slope that we're going to be using in this unit. So make sure that you internalize these as 4 different types of slope.